In this video, we will explore the movie player module and various methods to display a loading screen. The movie player module is a powerful system in Unreal Engine that handles loading screen presentation. Despite its name, it's not just for playing movies. It runs on a background thread, ensuring smooth performance during level transitions. It can be configured to either display a testing loading screen, a movie-based loading screen, which is perfect for quick implementations or when you have a pre-rendered loading animation, and finally a custom loading screen widget, which gives us complete control over the presentation and lets us add interactive elements. Let's look at how we'll use this in our project. In order for us to start using the movie player module, we first have to enable it so that it gets loaded for our project. To do that, we can open up our project configuration file. So we can go open up the project.build.cs, and inside here we specify which modules we will be loading. We also in here want to add the module for the movie player. Right, so movie player module, this will be used for the loading screens, and now if we save and build this, we'll have access to the movie player header files and the whole module in there. So let's go back to our game instance CPP file. Let's include the movie player header file, and now we should be able to create loading screen attribute and specify the widget for it and display that through the movie player. So to do that, we'll do it inside the begin loading screen function. This is where we want the loading screen to appear. So it's pretty straightforward. We have to create an instance of the loading screen attribute type. And to that, we can configure it depending on how we want the loading screen to present itself. Right, so in this case, we set the autocomplete when loading completes to false so that it does not remove the loading screen right away. We can kind of control when that gets removed. We can also specify the minimum loading screen display time. So if the loading takes half a second or a quarter of a second, you don't want it just to flash for a quick amount of time. You want it to be displayed for a certain amount of time before it disappears. It adds a little bit more polish to your project. So in our case, we're going to make sure that the loading screen stays up there for 2 seconds if the loading screen is under 2 seconds. If it's longer than 2 seconds, then as soon as it's done, it will disappear. And then we also want to specify which widget we want to display as the loading screen. And there is this new test loading screen widget function that's implemented that will just generate a very basic loading screen for us that just has a black background with a throbber in the middle of the screen. And then we get the movie player and we call the setup loading screen function, and then we pass in a loading screen attributes, and that will display that onto the screen. All right, so let's try this out. So again, we have to build it, run it, and then we can test this out inside the editor. To test this out, we have to make sure that we are running it in standalone game. This will only the movie player module only runs in standalone game, and that's the only way that we can test this out. So let's run it in standalone game. And now once we load into a screen, it will display this loading screen for 2 seconds. So every new level that we load will display this test loading screen that is provided for us. Okay, so it looks like it works. Instead of displaying the test widget that is provided for us, we could actually display a movie as a loading screen. All right, so to do that, if we open up our project folder, we can create a new folder called movies. And in here, if we whatever movie we store, the movie player module will have access to it. Right, so we're gonna store this loading screen movie inside here, and now we'll be able to access that movie through and tell the movie player to play that. Right, so again, this is very similar. Instead of using this widget, we are going to actually display a movie. So there's a couple of different properties that we can have. So we're just gonna override all of this. And again, we create the loading screen attributes variable. We don't want it to autocomplete when loading completes. If you want movies to be skippable, you can make this skippable or not. And then we can add to the movie paths the movie that we want to play. And again, this loading screen movie represents the loading screen movie that we have inside our movies folder inside. Actually, this should be inside the content folder. So we can just move that right into content. Right, so content, movies, and then you can list any movies that you want here. All right, and then we add these loading screen attributes as our loading screen. And instead of displaying a widget or any UI, it will just play this movie. And then we tell it to start playing the movie right away. All right, so let's build this and test this out in the editor as well. All right, so again, now we have to test this out in standalone. So let's run it and see the movie loading screen playing. All right, so there's the movie. And again, for every transition that we do, instead of displaying the test widget, it will display a particular movie that we specify while the level loads up in the background. In the next video, we will look into creating our own loading screen module.